Yeah, there was a journalist who decided enough was enough. She started speaking out against the way Facebook was being used. Her name is Ressa. She actually spent almost 2 decades on air at places like CNN, and then she had started a database to track these problems. It was called the Shark Tank, and she logged over 12 million accounts that she thought were pushing pro-Duterte messages or fake news, many allegedly fake. She even traveled to Facebook's F8 conference, met with Zuckerberg, and kept trying to sound the alarm about how Facebook was being used. She also spoke with over 50 high-ranking officers and employees at Facebook, she says, including Sheryl Sandberg. She says the only action she's seen after all of this is some paltry media literacy training, which partly puts it on consumers. Now, Facebook always says when these problems arise, they try to deal with them. And we here at The Beat reached out to a Facebook official, and they tell us that any issue that Ressa has previously alerted them to has been promptly reviewed and taken action, and when they saw violations of their standards, they would deal with them. They did not respond to some of our follow-up questions asking for details. Sheryl Sandberg, of course, made a similar claim after the U.S. election was undermined by Russia.
We spend a lot of time on what content can run on our platform. We are doing everything we can to follow up on every lead. We were looking at this, certainly not as early as we would have liked to, because we wish we had found it before it ever happened. First line of defense is going after fake accounts.
We wish we'd found it before it happened. That's a defense that sounds reasonable and true in the U.S., but doesn't make sense when you realize how long this has been going on in these other countries. Now, Ressa tells us she actually is still an advocate of Facebook as a good platform for news and discussion, but adds Facebook needs to moderate its greed, clean up the toxic waste, and be accountable for its role as this new gatekeeper to information. Duterte, meanwhile, has made the Philippines a very good place for business for Facebook. Towards the end of the election, Facebook even opened their first office in the country.
The Philippines has over 49 million monthly active users, representing 91% of internet users. Filipinos also have 60% more Facebook friends than the global average.
This is a good place for Facebook's business interests. I don't say that as a big criticism, and yet you'll notice in our reporting on Facebook, we keep coming back to Mark Zuckerberg making this claim that all of these initiatives, that Facebook's business strategy and connecting the world is not about money.
If we were just focused on making money, the first billion people that we've connected have way more money than the rest of the next 6 billion combined. It's not fair, but it's the way that it is.
A secondary goal is to make it so that this is a profitable thing for the whole international operator community. Because, that's how you make this sustainable.
The argument there is that Facebook's primary business strategy is not about business. Please.